Hello, everyone. It's Friday, April 3rd. Hope you made it through this week in good spirits. I'm Dr. Gina Page, president and co founder of African Ancestry.com. We are the pioneers of genetic ancestry tracing for Black people around the world. Welcome. I'm glad that you're here joining me for our Friday conversation with African Ancestry family members. Actually, I think I said it wrong. I don't know. I can't remember the name. African Ancestry Family Conversations. Yes, we are going to have an African Ancestry Family Conversation today. A 15 to 20 minute conversation with actually one of my closest and dearest friends. She'll be on with us shortly. But she's an African Ancestry family member too. So welcome everyone for being here. I'm happy that you're joining me. Linda, hello. I always like to ask, where are you all joining from? Yesterday we had Australia in the house. We had Sweden in the house. Ahmad, you want to know my results? Who wants to know my results? If I get some hearts, I'll share my results. I don't want to bore you all if Ahmad's the only one who wants to know. I traced my maternal ancestry to the Fulani people living in Nigeria today, and my paternal ancestry to the Hausa people living in Nigeria today. Shout out to New York. I hope you all are well and safe there in New York. Germany's in the house. Okay, I think Germany, you're the farthest so far. Ohio, Philly, Atlantic City's in the house again. Welcome back. My family is in Philadelphia. Some of my family is in Philadelphia, so it has a special place in my heart. Dr. Kittles is on the live. What? Hold on, wait a minute. Dr. Kittles, I think you need to share your video, ask to share this video. We need a special cameo from you. This is hilarious. We got Dallas, we got Iowa, California. Wow, Georgia, you guys are in here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm hoping we can get Dr. Kittles to make a cameo on this thing. I don't know. You guys brought us good luck here, good fortune. Any Rona discounts, half off discounts? No, but if you take our quiz that you can see the link for up in the bio, there's a special gift in there for you if you want to take the test. Mrs. Tabs, thank you. It was good to see you too. All right, let's see. New York, Detroit. Okay, all right. I don't seem to be able to convince Dr. Kittles to come in. Oh, wow. So today we're going to be talking to my good friend Sharisse Kimbro, who is an African Ancestry family member who got some unique results, actually. And so I wanted her to come on and talk to you all about those results. So Sharisse, when you are ready, if you could just send me the message. Somebody says they want this for their birthday. This is the best birthday gift you could get. Let your family know, let your friends know, and maybe they can all pitch in and get you the gift. Someone wants to know if it's possible to get their results early. I don't know. It depends on where you are in the queue. I would recommend that you hit us up at info@africanancestry.com. If you could do that, give us your kit ID number. Listen, we're the only company that does not sell or share your personal or genetic information. And so we maintain that confidentiality throughout the system. And as such, we ask for your kit ID number when you have an inquiry. All right, so I'm going to disclosure. I've known Sharisse for a couple of decades now. We went to college together and to graduate school together, and we pledged together. If there any, well, actually, we didn't pledge. What am I talking about?
So you pledged me.
We were in the sorority together. If I can get some pink and green hearts, I know there are a lot of deltas on here because I don't know, we just attract the deltas and we love the deltas, but if I have any of my sorors on here, I'd love to see you. Shout out to Eddie Meeks and Joseph Myers and Rodney's checking in. Okay, Sharisse, you're bringing in all the heavy hitters today. So how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Greetings from Evanston, Illinois, right outside of Chicago. It's an unseasonably warm day. That's why I'm outside taking advantage in my backyard of the sunshine. So,
I was about to say, what are you doing outside?
I know I'm in my backyard, just taking in some sun, some vitamin D. We are sun people. We are a sun people, so we need to be in the sun. So
That,
excited to be here and
I'm so
joining you.
glad you came,
And I
Sharisse.
saw Roseanne from Canada. Did you
I
see
was going
that?
to say, shout out to Roseanne. We got some sorors giving us some ski-wees on here. So this is a big reunion. Hey, Roseanne. I haven't seen Roseanne in probably decades now. But anyway, that's enough of the reunion. Let's get to the purpose of this conversation, Sharisse. So you took the African Ancestry test many, many years ago.
I did.
So you've had the benefit of sitting with this knowledge for years. So
Yes.
I normally, actually, let me start off by saying I give 3 words at the beginning of the lives, and I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to mind when you hear each word, okay?
Okay.
All right. DNA.
African.
Identity.
Black.
Africa.
Beautiful.
Ah, nice. Nice. I haven't gotten beautiful yet. That's cool. Okay. So Sharisse, I
Yes.
don't even know where to start with you because I don't want to ask you what motivated you to take the test because I probably was like, Sharisse, please take this test. But tell me this, you have 2 kids.
Yes.
So let me talk to us about what we found for you and
Okay.
how has that information impacted your kids?
So, as you mentioned earlier, I had a very unusual result. So, my maternal ancestry was traced through the Fulani people in Niger today. So, I always joke with you about how I don't have a T-shirt because you all don't have T-shirts for Niger because it's an uncommon result. And I almost wore another T-shirt from another country that I have, but I said no, I'm going to represent Niger without a T-shirt. Um, and I think for me, and then we also traced the boy's father's maternal lineage, and he was found in his ancestry in Guinea-Bissau. So I think for the boys, and I think it gave them a sense of place, it gave them a sense of grounding, and I think for them to know, and it's something they referenced over time. Like they were really pretty little when I did it. They were maybe like I don't know 9 and 12 or they were younger, so like middle school aged. And so, they've all, like we did growing up, go through those social studies or history assignments where are you from? And all the kids in your school, if you go to a multiracial school with not all African American students, have places and countries of identity that they can point to. And as most Black kids growing up, you don't have you could say I'm from, like my family's from Tennessee. Well, before Tennessee, I didn't have a clue. And so I think for my kids to be able to give them the gift to show them the results and show them, no, this is where, your mother's was from, show them on the map where in these areas. Because it's, like you said, it's unusual. People are like, in Guinea-Bissau too, like, where is that? So it gives you opportunity to really ground them and root them in a place. And with the people that are specific. And so then when the next time they have, that question asked or the next iteration of that assignment is a lot more specific for them. And I think it gave them a sense of pride in being able to articulate that in those contexts with those classrooms of mixed racially classrooms, that they could say where they were from with pride, with identity and knowledge, that it just wasn't a random place.
Yeah, and I'm reminded now, I guess it was Noah, your oldest. Shout out to Noah Jones, football star extraordinaire. He was in middle school, so I'm gonna say maybe it was like the 8th grade or 7th grade.
7th grade.
And I was in Chicago, and so I went and did a presentation to his class during an assembly. And I've talked to kids before, I'm like, okay, no big deal, until I was standing there and I was like, this whole auditorium is white kids. And I just wasn't quite ready for that because I talk about the slave trade and I get into the history and I was like, whoa, okay, first of all, it race aside, have these kids learned about the transatlantic slave trade yet? And then secondly, how do I position the information so that Noah particularly feels proud and doesn't feel, uh, you know, doesn't feel less than because of this period of history that we're talking about. And of course, yeah. I adjusted, and the teacher made them write me all these beautiful thank you notes. So I guess I did okay. Noah still spoke to me after that.
Yeah.
But it struck me how important it was when I was standing there representing him, this little Black boy, and the things that I was about to say, how I needed to make sure that he and all the other boys in there that looked like him felt empowered.
Yeah, for sure. I was thinking about that too, remembering and thinking about our talk. And I still have a picture of you, presenting to the class and how impactful that was and how proud Noah was that day and continued to be after that, that you came and talked to his class and how the kids talked about it afterwards and they were kind of blown away. And even the way you positioned the information, Gina, was so powerful and age appropriate, I think. I remember one thing that still I remember, you said, imagine if you went to bed one night and you woke up and all the adults were gone. And it's like, dang, you don't hear slavery talked about in that way. And I think that for me was really powerful as an adult. I think the kids were like, oh, that's how it was? Like, that's what went down. So I think, all these opportunities to connect kids to Africa in a positive way is just so important because there's so much still, negative connotations and negative associations that people have with Africa, with being from Africa, with being Black, particularly in those environments where there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of ignorance. Even when you try to, counter that in your own home, it's still, they have to fight that when they go outside every day.
Yeah. So Sharisse, what if somebody who is watching is like me, don't have no kids? Doesn't have the young people around them to necessarily on a daily basis to share the information with. What would you say to somebody like that? Like, why do you think this matters to an everyday average Black person?
Well, I think it matters because even though you don't have kids, you have parents. And so I think one of the things and grandparents, that was meaningful for me was to share it with my mother. And then she has also referenced it over time. She'll be like, where again are we from? Then she'll say, like, where are mother's people from? Like, they're your people too. It's your mother's, your my great grandmother's, mother's mother. And so I think for her too, she grew up in the Jim Crow South in Nashville, Tennessee, very, replete with negative imagery about herself, about Black people, about Africa, and her, on back through. And I think for her to know there was a place and the people. And then also, I think she liked that it was a unique place. Like, oh, this is a special place. And, and it kind of makes you feel like it does, even as, adults, it roots and grounds you too. So it's not just information for me and my boys, but for me and my mother and her mother, and then other people in our family that we're connected to. I mean, her sister has passed away, but it would have been the same for her as well. So I think just having that continuity and connection. And I think even if your mother is even, not with us anymore, then that will give you a different level of connection, right? Because if your mother has passed on with the ancestors, and you can still connect to her through this information, or through your father with the information, because
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say my father recently passed away, and my brother would have to take the test to do my paternal line, which we didn't trace originally, but like that's, and my brother would have to take the test to do my paternal line, which we didn't trace originally, but like that still would be a connection that we could decide to do it now, and then connect us to him at a greater, deeper level, even after his passing on.
What's going on? I want to just take a second to shout out Sharisse as an author. Yeah. Is that one of your children in the background?
It is one of my children.
Which one of your children is that in the background?
It's my eldest child.
I had a feeling.
He's acting like he's being shy, so he doesn't want to come beyond.
Noah, come on in here, quick. Noah, come on.
Gina's telling you to come on, Noah. Your camera ready? Come on. Come on. Just say hi.
This is hilarious because he doesn't have a shy bone in his body, so I can't imagine that he's acting shy.
He has to hold.
That's not. Hey, Noah.
I can't. He's too tall.
Hello.
Hey.
How
How
are
you
you?
doing?
I'm good. How are
I'm
you?
good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
So Noah, tell us what it meant to you to find out where you were from in Africa.
I mean, for me, it was pretty important. I know because, I mean, growing up, obviously a lot of kids like me, but I mean, myself included, we never really knew where exactly I was from in Africa, and especially growing up, going through school, especially as a young kid, that was a big thing, especially going to a predominantly white institution for most of my life. Everyone would always talk about where they're from, and they knew exactly all the places that they were from, and I always couldn't really answer those questions. So I didn't know where I was from. So finding out where it's from, be able to tell those people, you know, when they asked where I'm from, knowing exactly where I was from in Africa really meant a lot to me.
Nice, nice. And Noah, how old are you now?
I'm 19, just turned 19 in January.
So we have everybody out. You can hear it from the mouths of a babe, of a 19-year-old who's had this information since he was like, I don't know, 10 or 8, 9, something like that. Really, the majority of his life, he's known now. Noah, I'm going to say in front of everybody on Instagram, congratulations on getting into Georgetown. I can't wait to see you when you get down here in the end of the summer. Thank you for making an appearance.
No problem. Thank you. I appreciate it.
The things you get to do when it's your broadcast. But anyway, I want to make sure that I shout out Sharisse too, because she is an author. And you know, at African Ancestry, it's very important to us to support Black business. And Black authors who self-publish are Black businesses. And so, Sharisse, tell us about Beyond the Broken and what that's all about and where we can find the book. Because we got time on our hands now. Everybody, you can go to Amazon or go to Sharisse's website and get Beyond the Broken. So let's get a little pitch going, Sharisse.
Oh, thank you, Gina. So Beyond the Broken is my first novel that I published a few years ago. And it really tells a story about what happens when the life you plan for isn't the life you end up with. It's a story about Black women. It's a story about women in general, but men have enjoyed it too. And it just really explores the power of friendship and the power of sisterhood and the power of really being authentic. And sometimes the risks that we as women endure and the lifestyle choices that we make at the expense of being authentic, and then kind of coming to terms with that and coming full circle with that knowledge. So it's available on Amazon, Beyond the Broken. You can also go to my website, SharisseKimbro.com, and you can buy it directly from me as well. But Gina's always been such a wonderful supporter of me as a person and as a businesswoman, and someone who I really value her opinion and guidance and knowledge all the time. So,
oh, thank you. It's not about me.
welcome.
I was looking at my bookshelf over there to see if I had it handy, and I don't. But listen, you guys, I understand that Amazon takes like 65% cut of authors' book profits. So if you are interested in this book, and I hope you are, please go to SharisseKimbro.com. Ty's going to type it in the comments, SharisseKimbro.com, and purchase the book, because then she'll get all of the proceeds instead of only some portion of it because of Amazon. Right. So listen, I'm Dr. Gina Page, president and co-founder of AfricanAncestry.com, the pioneers of genetic ancestry tracing for Black people around the world. And we are coming to you every day this month, live at 5. Oh, shucks, sounds like a news broadcast. Live at 5 to have a conversation with an African ancestry family member. Today's African ancestry family member happens to be one of my very good and dear friends, Sharisse Kimbro. And you can see her website there, author of Beyond the Broken. Sharisse, thank you for spending some time with us.
Thanks for having us.
Your perspective and for bringing in the heavy hitters onto the line. I really appreciate it. And listen, I know that you're following orders and that you and your family are safe and are sheltering in place. And I encourage everyone who's watching to please follow the orders. Please shelter in place. That's how we're going to move more quickly through this current situation, is if we all take the time to be still. Yeah. Be at home, only be out when we need to. Now, I say that But I also want you to know that African Ancestry is still in business. So we are still accepting orders. But more importantly, we're still processing your swabs. We're still producing your results. And we're actually moving